Life can be so challenging. Where can you go to get divine clarification, help, and advice? Well, may I introduce Natasha Venter, medium, coach, and direct connection to your guides and angels. Through her podcast, Life Clarifications, Natasha will help you navigate through and create your life's destiny. My name is Kevin McDonald, co-host of this podcast, and I've seen her work and know that through her incredible talent, you can be changed forever. So let's start another episode of Life Clarifications with Natasha. And there she is. That's the one over there. Hey, kid, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. And I'm going to be honest with everyone here that today is one of those days that life took over. And I'm navigating through it, and I'm here to be my better, and I'm asking Archangel Michael to assist me. And so words might come out that I'm not even attached to because I'm stepping out of the way today.
Well, that's I tried to talk you out of it because you don't feel very good, and you've got. And see, I don't even know how to deal with that because I don't have any allergies. Yeah. I can eat or drink anything I like and not have any issues at all. Well, most of the time anyway. But for some of us, my brother was that way. And my sister's that way. They both got allergies, and for you. And your allergies continue to change because what you can't eat, what you thought you could eat, and then you eat it, then you can't eat it anymore, kind of thing.
Exactly. So to clarify, I have an almond / tree nut, walnuts, almonds, cashews, all of those. I can eat peanuts, but I can't do the others. I can't even be in the same room with them anymore. Well, I ate something that I've been eating and have been fine eating, but the company, because there's one brand of granola bar I can eat that I was eating, and it was only one of two of the whole group because they were organic. They were a smaller company. And I ended up taking 2 bites of something and getting a reaction where I ended up having to come home, take a Benadryl, and I'm feeling fine actually because I don't feel my throat closing up anymore. My tongue's not starting to swell. But this is where I kind of come into this other side of me, which is I don't take medicine. So like one ibuprofen, one Tylenol, one whatever you want to call it, regular strength. I'll take one if I have a migraine. Just one. And if it doesn't help me in another 2 hours, I'll take another one. There's one day I took 4 in over maybe 7 hours, 4 regular strength, and my stomach went into spasms. So I don't take things. So right now I'm still kind of under the effects of Benadryl. So if I wasn't here, I would be asleep. But the only way for me to work through getting this out of my system is kind of like when you go to the dentist and you get Novocaine in your jaw and you want to talk to get your jaw moving to get the stuff out of your system. Well, that's kind of where I'm at. Hi, Mo. And that kind of thing. So that's why I'm kind of pulled to talk about is that, we're going into Mercury into retrograde. A lot of our bodies are shifting, and we forget sometimes that our bodies are part of the dance of being here and being human. And I know a lot of people say, yeah, we're spiritual beings in physical bodies. And I'm kind of going, yeah, we're physical bodies being spiritual beings, and we're spiritual beings being in a physical body. It's a this and a that and a that and this. And so there's no right or wrong in how you want to put that. The moment that we kind of say, like I asked a teacher the other day, how was your day? And she checked her pulse. Yep, I'm still here. I'm alive. I'm still doing. And that statement right there really is the statement that we, no matter what we are, we're still responsible for what the bones that hold us upright, because if we didn't have bones, we wouldn't be upright, that we're still this physicalness to our walk of this life. And we have to be responsible for how we interact with it, her, she, him, whatever it is that you are in this dance of walking in your body. And see, I can already feel being more spiritual. I'm kind of coming out of the fog of the. So thank you for doing this, because otherwise I'd be in the fog for a lot longer.
Well, the thing is that everybody's body is different, and everybody's got the different needs and stuff, and it's kind of too bad that we are so different from each other. That some of us have got inherent problems that they have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us really don't. But that's
But that's how, there's that dance of figuring out who we are. And if that means we have to do it through our body, somebody who came in with less oxygen when they were born because of maybe the cord was wrapped around their neck and they had to learn that experience, or there was an injury that happened that somebody became more paraplegic,
Mhm.
or food gets more interesting. I know I've heard more people getting and take a minute here, and this is where I'm kind of a little bit foggy, so I apologize. It's what's in it's in what's the in medicine. Like if you take you take an EpiPen. What's the medicine in there? It's the
The penicillin? No?
No, it's the I word. It, the people are getting this. It's not insulin, but it's something like that. That they're getting this allergic reaction where they're getting reacted to everything. It's like they can't take antihistamine. Um, they can't take.
Not steroids, right?
No, 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 no. It's the no, not steroids. It's the thing that you take that helps you breathe again.
Oh, antihistamine.
Antihistamine. There we go. Thank you. So that they're getting antihistamine allergies, which they're getting allergic to almost anything. They can't touch anything. They can't breathe anything. Their cat that they've had their whole life, they can't have them around them anymore because they're breaking out in rashes. There's this thing that's happening with us that, you know, our system is our system is getting overloaded so much with things that we're going to have to be careful about how we listen to our bodies.
We do. Well, and some of us, like you're very sensitive in a lot of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be very careful about stuff that you do, because you can seriously damage yourself.
Yes, and that leads me to a conversation. Right now we're out there with, this big COVID scenario out there. And I know for me, and I even mentioned this on the radio when I was on the radio with Martha Norwalk this weekend, that society right now, you watch the news, you watch these things, and I personally am almost feeling bullied out there by society, saying that you're going to be labeled, and actually a past life of the Jewish time being in Germany, being a Jew, that me wearing a mask after another week or two is going to label me as a um
non-vacciner.
non-vacciner. Thank you for the word. And what does that say for me? If I had $1 million, I wouldn't still take it, because I have an understanding that 3 or 4 or 5 years from now, me taking that shot, I don't know if I'd be able to get up and go to work in the morning.
Well, and
Or be a part of society.
Yeah, it's never been around, so it's brand new. So we don't have any idea what the long-term ramifications are going to be, or how long it's going to last. Is it going to be an annual thing that you're going to have to take, and all of that? Will it? So there is a lot of trepidation. There's a lot of people that are very nervous about it because they don't understand it, and there's not a lot of science. There's science behind it, but there's not a lot of track record to understand how it works. So, but if that means that you need to continue to wear your mask, so be it. Just as an aside, my son, for the first time in his adult life, when the change of seasons happened in the fall and then again in the spring, he didn't get a cold because he was wearing a mask.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's going to wear a mask all the time so he doesn't catch a cold. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah, and that, but that's the thing is that we're, as a society, and not everybody's going to hear this, and I know that there's something in me I got to work on, because there again, if someone gets triggered from something, you got to check in with yourself. What is your story that's getting triggered? So
Sure.
I am being triggered somewhere in me about being bullied because I'm not doing something that everybody else is doing.
Well,
And
but
by rights, I can understand why we need to. I'm not trying to say anything bad about the shot. My husband's going to get it. My kids got it. It's like I can't tell anybody else their story. This is my individual story. My husband says you better not, because he sees me on it. Like I took the Benadryl, he says you better get your cozy spot because you're going to be out in a minute. Because he knows what me taking something is like.
mm-hmm. Well, you have to take personal responsibility for your own deal.
Mm-hmm.
And if it doesn't feel like that's something that you should do or can do because of how your body, you just need to make certain sacrifices that you might not otherwise make, to keep yourself healthy too. Because
Exactly. And I'm going to say that about food, shots, whatever it is, that we all have this interactional story that is going on with the physical being that is putting its 2 feet, 4 feet, 6 feet, no feet on this planet. Because dogs are doing this. They got 4 feet. Cats are having the same situation. A lot of animals, a lot of frogs are having a situation. We're having our bees having a situation with not getting along with what's going on in society. So there's a lot of things that are navigating right now that is not at home in comfort with what is going on around us.
mhm. Well, that's true. Now, in your opinion, is that more of an energetic thing?
You're gonna dislike me again.
I'm going to do what to you
On
again?
Monday, I did this. He would ask a question. I said yes and yes, because it was both sides of that same coin. Yes and yes. It is an energetic thing. When we become more spiritual, the vibration of the being we are becomes lighter. It becomes more interwoven with the dimensional changes. The dimensions are shifting and becoming lighter, which our bodies are doing the same thing. We're not so dense. We're not so in one solid form. Okay. So there is the spiritual dance of our evolution. I can tell you exactly when I started getting more spiritual, this became a differently enlightened with what it is. I can tell you how a chicken or a cow or a fish was handled by the way that it feels in my body when I eat it.
Oh, that's got to be pretty uncomfortable.
But that's how more enlightened in my spiritual walk I'm becoming, more elusive to the I guess that's the word I'm looking for, to the boundary of what is on the spirit side and what's in the physical being side. That's a very thin line now. And so as I've done that, my body has become less dense, for lack of a better word. And my body is needing to have more enlightenment happening to it. Now I'm going to flip that coin back over and see what's on the other side of it. Our country, especially this country, other countries too, but this country, since the 50s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, if you watch like the food how food changed America. Have you ever watched that show?
Not lately, but go ahead.
That it's been interesting how our food has become less food.
Oh yeah.
And like most of our food, if you look at our food, it's all pumped full of stuff. And I'm just call it some of it's shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I can tell you because I work for a chicken manufacturer or a vertically integrated chicken producer. First of all, I'd like to know how you buy chicken without it having been handled wrong, because most all the chicken is.
Yeah, I haven't gone there yet. I haven't gone there yet. Mainly because of the fact that I'm still on this planet needing to navigate. If I'm driving down the road, like when I was taking my kid to New Mexico, I couldn't pick and choose sometimes where I was going to eat.
Right.
You know, now I picked and choose McDonald's or the deli at a grocery store where I can tell you that the chicken was baked by itself.
Hmm.
I didn't have a salad because a lot of times that was nuts and stuff, but sometimes that, I was able to get enough to eat that wasn't like McDonald's or Burger King. I have a very hard time eating those places just because of all my scenarios going on with
Well,
food.
there's a tremendous amount of, especially the chicken nuggets and things like that are compressed chicken and are not whole muscle. They're very it's very they've got a lot of chemicals in them. It's just a
Mhm,
fact. They just have a
mhm.
lot of chemicals in it. So if you're sensitive to those things, I mean, even free range chicken, which is supposed to be chicken that is running around and having a life, and no, did you know? Here's a fun fact for people that are listening: is that in the
Let's not gross anybody out now. Remember, we got to still eat.
well, no, in the 1950s and 60s, when a chick hatched from its egg, it took essentially 15 weeks before it reached maturity, 3 to 3.5, 4 pounds, and that was the slaughter weight that they wanted to have at that time. Now it's 6.5 weeks.
Mhm,
6.5, 7 weeks, and they've done that through breeding. They do that through the types of chemicals and the type of food that they give it,
mhm.
and that sort of thing. So it has changed, and you're right. The food has changed because of the needs that we need to feed so many more people.
Yes.
And so it's in all aspects of it. Beef is the same way. Pork is the same way.
Mhm. Exactly. And so with that we, through the generations, if you think that this started back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, because more people came and lived in cities. So we couldn't go to the farm to get the cow to eat anymore. We had to go to the grocery store to get the food because people in towns were starting to starve because the farms weren't, or the food wasn't where we were living. And so they had to start farming things in. They had to start bringing things in. And, if you look at that, that was our great grandparents.
Hmm.
So now we're what? How many generations? 3, 4 generations away from this starting of eating less non, that was a double negative. Um, Eating less real or less processed.
Right.
We used to eat less processed. Now we're eating more processed food. So with that as we've eaten that, our DNA has changed because of eating that. Our stomach's lining has changed because of that. Our digestive lining has changed because of that. And yes, it's been better for us in many ways, but in other ways, it's not. So, with that, I'm just the overall picture of this, the overall conversation about this is that for those that are starting to get the feeling of unease, discomfort, listen to your body. Please listen to your body. The difference between listening to something that doesn't feel quite right when you eat it is the difference between something negative being planted in your body or not. Like a lot of people have a pancreas problem, because the fats, they can't eat the fats. Well, the pancreas is about emotions. So are you working with your emotions? And so if we're not working through our emotions, then because we're eating the wrong foods, it's going to cause our pancreas to say, and then we've got discomfort. And then pretty soon the doctor's saying, well, let's take it out.
Can you live without your pancreas? I don't know.
Well, no, that may gallbladder. I meant to say gallbladder.
Okay.
Gallbladder. I apologize. Next, the pancreas, because that gives our insulin. The gallbladder. There again, still a little fuzzy.
I get it.
Remind you guys that the words are maybe coming off of a short circuited here.
So, Natasha, give our audience some do's and some ways of buying food, or because I know you do shopping all the time and that kind of stuff. How do you eat cleaner than I've tried even being a vegan for a short or vegetarian for a short period of time. That don't work either because you're not getting the anything that you need.
No, and I am far from ever going to be a vegetarian, a vegan, or whatever. I am what you would call a full bone. I need protein of the animal species because otherwise I get so freaking dizzy. I can't. I need proteins. And sometimes it's the steak type protein that I need. There's just something in there that my body just craves. And so with that, but the thing to do is to interact with your body. So I muscle test a lot. And when I muscle test, it's about, like trying to hold your two fingers together, bringing your other two fingers in, and then seeing what is my yes, what is my no, what is my yes, what is my maybe. So you see how my fingers are just maybe coming up a little bit? And I'm trying to keep the fingers tight and I'm trying to pull them apart. Okay. And I ask this question all the time. I did this when I was starting to feel the effect of not feeling quite right. And I was feeling like my throat was starting to close up. And that's part of my reaction to nuts is that my tongue starts to swell and my throat starts to feel closed up. That's why I'm not wearing any necklaces or anything because it's like, but I muscle tested real quick. Am I having a reaction? Yes. Do I need to take a Benadryl? It was kind of a no, but I took one just because after the half hour, I wasn't getting better. And so I needed to stop the reaction because I was not going to take an EpiPen. I have not yet done that. And I personally don't want to have that ride to the emergency room and have to deal with those drugs.
Well, but if your throat is closing up and your tongue is swelling,
I'll do that. I will do that because I want to stay alive. I really want to. And it was funny because I was watching, I ended up watching some of your other show with Blake. No, with
Eric and Matt.
Eric and Matt. And I love you listening to you guys on that one because you're just so real. And the conversation you were having, it was like so hilarious how it was just so 3D. Is there life after death? I don't know if I want to die. Well, I frankly don't want to die. Okay, so I will do not necessarily what I need to survive, but I will do things that are simpler for my body to navigate through to survive.
Yeah. By the way, as far as muscle testing goes, if you're not familiar with this concept, it is the damnedest thing.
It is a damnest thing.
It is really bizarre. Now I do it a little bit differently because I go like this and I hold them together, and if they interlock and they stay, but when it's something that I shouldn't do, I can't hold it together.
Yeah. So what is your yes? What is your no? What is your maybe?
Correct. My yes is I can hold it together, and my no is I can't. And it's I've tried to honestly say, all right, I'm going to hold it together regardless, and it doesn't matter. I can't do it. It's because that's part of our energetic system that is giving us, and from the other side is giving us those clues. So if you haven't tried it, try it, and do it for simple things. Do it for when you go to the grocery store.
Yes.
And if is this the right product for me, and read the label as always, but then you can do that, and it will determine for you whether or not it's the right product for you.
Exactly. So for me, I also do one where I stand up, and you have to be careful about this. So with muscle, and my dad was an applied kinesiologist, a chiropractor. So I muscle tested with him. And sometimes I was a surrogate muscle tester. So like there was an 80-year-old woman who had no strength to put up her arm. I would touch her. He would muscle test me because he knew I was a conduit. So even from little bits, or me being younger, I was a conduit for channeling.
Well, the energy just flowed from her to
To
you,
you. Yeah,
and
exactly.
you, yeah.
So now another way that I do this, and I do this when I'm at the grocery store. So you coming back to this question about how do you know what food is right for you, especially in a grocery store? So for me, and I'm gonna have to stand up for this, and I apologize, and I'm trying to do my better here.
That's all right. Just don't fall over.
I won't, because I do this a lot. So, and I'm gonna turn sideways here. Okay, so for me, what I try to do is I try to do, what is my yes? What is my no? Okay, what is my maybe? And so I'll go to the side. So with this, and make sure you're safe. Okay, what is my yes? What is my no? And you'll feel like somebody is pushing you over. Okay, and a lot of times, so if I'm going to reach for an onion, and I'll hear and I'll do this, I'll know that onion's right for me. If I go reach for an onion and I kind of go back, it's like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, pick another one. Oh, yep, there it is. So with that you do, you can interact with your body that way. And if you get used to it, like for me, that's just a second nature thing for my body. Is that if I'm reaching for something in the grocery store and I feel myself go back, I go, okay, wait a minute. Am I supposed to eat that right now? No. Okay, but I asked the question, is it the wrong vegetable or is it the wrong timing for me to eat this? Because sometimes our bodies want to eat fish and not chicken for the day. Or your body wants to have chocolate and not peanut butter.
But everybody wants to have peanut butter and chocolate.
Yes, and actually, you know what? I used to have these granola. I'm having to change this because of the dairy. Organic chocolate chips and really good peanut butter with honey, and you make your own peanut butter cups. Oh my gosh, it was. I'm not going to say it was to die for, but it was.
How decadent can you be? No,
It was pretty darn good because I get good honey. I don't get the store bought honey. I get home area. It still crystallizes if you don't if you don't use it quickly. That to help with my honey. I love honey, but yet I cannot. The store stuff is not real. If it doesn't crystallize, it's not real stuff. So.
And again, you got to be careful about reading labels and stuff, because I know one guy that wanted to make a low calorie honey, and he used stevia and you put stevia in it, which is a sweetener, an artificial sweetener, and also the other one, or the one you're not supposed to have that can give you cancer. And so you just need to be careful about reading labels and stuff, and follow her advice.
Yeah. So with that as we go forward, remember our bodies are here. I'm going to repeat what I said at the beginning. Our bodies are here to help us stay on this planet. And the more we listen to it.
What does who yes mean? I don't know what that means.
That as we go through life, remember, listen to your body. When I'm at a grocery store, and what I like doing this better, because when I'm putting my hand on my lap and I'm under the table asking my body, do you want a hamburger today? Do you want a hamburger today? Do you want fish today? Do you want, see, there's fish. Do you want because I can tell I need protein, and fish for me is one of my cleaner proteins to get. So even if I can't have my mayonnaise anymore because I can't eat vinegar. So trying to put something in your tuna fish to make it a little bit less dry is a little entertaining. So as we do life, just remember, honor your body. Your body's going to tell you. So ask it when you're at a restaurant, and if you have choices. Do you want a hamburger? Do you want French fries? So I want potatoes? Oh, so now I just had some potato chips. I'm gonna have to not eat my potato chips anymore because my body is saying, do you want potato chips? No. Do you want celery and peanut butter? Yep. It's really tight. So
with a
I've
little
answered my question on what is for my dinner tonight.
peanut butter and celery with a little bit of dipped in chocolate. That would be worth eating.
That would be worth it. Now, for me, peanut butter and honey mixed together because I use Adam's peanut butter, so I mix the honey in so the oils don't separate. I grew
Right.
up with my parents doing that. And then putting that on my celery. Oh, yes, that's so good.
And I'd like to. You just brought up a very, very interesting point, and that is one of the things that why there's so much obesity in this country is that Adam's peanut butter costs probably 3 times what the cheap brand of peanut butter costs in the store.
Yes.
The one that doesn't separate and because it's got emulsifiers and all kinds of stuff in it to keep it from separating. But so a lot of people who are on a strict budget can't afford to buy the more expensive, better for you products, and that has led to a lot of problems for us.
And there again is our society bullying the lower class in my definition. And I'm going to label that my definition, that when society has said that I gotta stop myself. I'm feeling that stopping. I need to stop. So thank you. My team told me to stop, so I'm going to stop. Everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their own experience that they were called to live on this planet. And I just pray that everybody feels like they are a part of the society and they are very much included. And I send you my love.
And by the way, Mo says she agrees it can be challenging to buy more whole, healthy food. And in fact, if you go to Whole Foods or some of those, I'll give you a great example. My sister loves during Thanksgiving. She loved to buy organic turkeys. Well, the organic turkey that you buy at like a Whole Foods is like $2.49 a pound. And when you go to Safeway, if you buy $100 worth of groceries, they'll give you the turkey for free.
Yes.
And so a lot of people, but the turkey is of the lower quality, and they are injected, and because they all get antibiotics.
And I would agree with that. So what I invite for you to do, though, is pick and choose which turkey you want.
And you can do that through muscle testing.
You can do that through muscle testing. You can do that through the feeling of yes or no, or maybe yes. Now, I'm going to tell you, though, muscle testing, make sure you check in what is your yes and what is your no before you start, because sometimes our energies are off and it's flipped. So your yes isn't always going to be tight and your no is not always going to be loose. You check in to see what your body's doing at that time, and then you can go through the series of conversations. So remember, though, that as you're picking out the turkey, check in with your body. Which one should I buy for right now to feed my family? What is the healthiest one for me to pick out of the group here for me to pick for my family? And go to that. Follow your instincts. The first one you're drawn to, then kind of see, pick it up. Is this one for me? Oop, nope. Okay. Then the second one you were drawn to, maybe it was you needed to move that one off because you were drawn to it, and the one underneath is the one that you were needing. So then pick that up and make that a yes or no, and see what is called to you, because sometimes even if you have 1,000 turkeys that were shot, there's one that had a different integrity. Kind of like you can have a whole bunch of, you can have 10 military people in front of you, and each one's going to have their own story about how they've navigated through being there. Some might be a little more angry, some might be a little happier, some might be a little depressed. Which one would you pick to have the energy that would match up with yours? Even though they're all the same, they're going to have all different stories. So the same thing goes to chickens, turkeys, beef, whatever yours is. I still pick which one is better for me, even though all the wrapping's the same.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because they have discovered over time that in the slaughtering process, if the animal is scared out of its mind, it changes
It's
that changes the meat within the animal, because of the hormones that are released due to the fear. And so even in the slaughtering process, it matters.
Exactly. And like I said, that sometimes even I, in my intuitiveness, pick one that's just a little bit off, and I can tell that when I eat it. Just because the vibration of my body doesn't settle well with it. So the vibration of the food and the vibration of me, it's not in alignment.
That's got to be irritating as heck.
Oh, try living with me.
No, I think your husband of 30 years has figured that part out.
Oh, yes, he loves me, and I'm so grateful, because I may not be the easiest to live with when it comes to food. Plus, too, he loves like salsa and spicy, and I'm very plain. Let me salt the mashed potatoes, but yet don't ask me to put in all the extra gook.
And Mo says, right. Also, the way that the people laboring over the meat affect the meat's energy. Well, and that was a question. I will tell
Yes.
you that that's also true. I used to work, and like I said, with chicken, and there were people that they stood all day sizing chicken breasts and cutting chicken breasts up to be certain sizes, and those people didn't get paid a lot of money. And so there was an unhappy place. A chicken processing plant, by and large, is an unhappy place to work. And so that does bleed over into every aspect of it.
It does. It does. It does. That's why, if you have a chance to buy your own beef, check out to see who the owner is. What was their intentions? But and for me, like I've said, that I still kind of do certain things so that I can still eat. Like I will still eat hamburger just because I want to be able to eat if I'm out for the day and I need to grab something to eat in a restaurant, because you're not able to always eat at the most precious prime place. Now, for me, I will go to a local hamburger joint over going to Burger King, and I'll spend because I can, and because I don't drink coffees. I don't go, I paint my own nails. I cut my own hair. So there's a lot of things I don't do, so that when I go to eat someplace, I can spend a few more dollars with my food. That's my cup of coffee a day, is to try to do better for my own self to navigate.
Yeah, I do my own nails too. They look really nice. And I cut my own hair. It doesn't take but like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
So with that we can do things. Now, remember though that I don't drink and I don't smoke, I don't drink coffee, I don't do a lot of things. So there's certain avenues that I have a little bit more freedom with, because I don't spend here, I spend there. So this is just all in perspective of what can you do, what can you go, that will help you be better, because our bodies are changing. So honor that. It's kind of like for me, that now the granola bars that I've been eating for years, because it was one of the few things I can do, I might have to start spending some time and making my own now, because I need something quick to eat. I'm not a morning eater. I have a hard time eating breakfast before I go to work. And so with that sometimes I can't I have a hard time. I have to figure out something that I can eat quickly to navigate. If I'm on the road, what can I eat quickly? Sometimes it was the granola bar, with a little bit of protein and stuff, but now I have to maybe make my own.
How about a protein shake? Can you do those?
Oh God, no.
That's right. You are a lot of fun on a date, aren't you?
Yes, I can't swallow certain things. Been poisoned, killed, manipulated down my throat too many freaking times in past lives, and in this lifetime, there are certain textures. Do not go down this. Even vitamins or pills, like my husband, with the Benadryl, he didn't give me a glass in the pill. He says, "What do you want to eat to get it down?" Because he knew that I needed to have some kind of food to put the pill down. It's like I chew, and then right before I swallow, I stick the pill in so it will go down. Because
Boy,
I can't swallow a lot of things because my throat goes, not in this house.
well, it's advantageous when you know somebody so well as your husband knows you, so that there are no surprises and he can help you out. So that has morphed into a very good long-term relationship. That's
It
just
has,
awesome.
it has. It's been some work. Him being sober has helped a lot with that dance of acceptance instead of fighting with it. But yeah, it's a gift. I am so grateful that he's willing to know. Like I made stroganoff the other night. And I made his with the cream mushroom soup and the sour cream and a little bit of spices and that kind of stuff. And I had maybe about a fourth of a teaspoon of cream mushroom soup, added a little bit more water, and then I sauteed some onion or some mushrooms to add some liquid because
Mhm.
mushrooms kind of have and I mixed that in so that it was a little bit more. So I had a little bit of flavor in with my noodles and hamburger, but my important thing was having the hamburger for the protein, which hamburger's not your best protein, but it was for the night. That to get something. So I made his a little bit more than mine. I just took mine out before I put all the stuff in because I can't eat a lot of that stuff anymore. There's something in the cream mushroom soup that gives me migraines, so I have to be careful.
No, brother. What are you going to do? Well, it's probably MSG. It's
Yeah, it is that, but too much salt,
huh,
like soy sauce and that kind of stuff, will give me a migraine if I have too much salt at one time.
exactly. You know what? Because you're still kind of under the weather. Why don't we pull the cards early today so you can do that and we can talk about that. Do you want to do that? Do you feel up to doing that?
I can do that. I can do that. Oh, and I wanted to let people know that this date, not necessarily is going to start this, but we're going into Mercury into retrograde coming up. This is May of 2021 that this is happening. So by the end of this month, I think it's the 29th and it's 3 weeks long. So into the month of June. So we got like 3 weeks before the time when Mercury's in retrograde and 3 weeks after. And Mercury in retrograde is something that happens 3 times a year. Well, each time that it's in a planet, so like this time it's in you'll have to forgive me, I forget the planet, but it's in the sign of Gemini. So is it Mars that's attached to Gemini?
Got me.
So I do know, but right now, that as it goes into Gemini, well, the Gemini sign. Okay, so let me stop right here. It's going too fast, so I'm going to slow down. Mercury going into retrograde. What Mercury stands for is communication. It's about communication with electronics, with gadgets, with our mouths. So communication. So if you have a car that might be on the edge, well, it might say, I give during Mercury retrograde. If you have computers that emails don't go through very well, there again, Mercury in retrograde. If you're trying to get something started, like a new contract or something new, Mercury in retrograde is not a good time to start something new. It's a great time to, if you've already started it, work through it, but you may not complete it. Now, I'm going to throw a little dance into that. If you're born in Mercury in retrograde, it actually is a great time to do certain things. For me, I was born kind of right at the cusp of Mercury going into retrograde. So like last Mercury in retrograde last summer, I redid my website. I redid a lot of things because that's the time where I'm on with electronics, not off. So, but for the majority, miscommunication. Like my husband the other day, he texted me and just said, is Mercury retrograde? Because everything's going wrong. Computers wouldn't work right. His phone wouldn't work right. The games he wanted to play wouldn't work right. The credit card machine wouldn't work right. We was just having a whole. And he sells parts for cars and stuff. He works at a local Napa, and so that's all about electronics and mechanicalisms. So it was kind of an interesting day for him. So with that, so now I'm going to go into Gemini. This Mercury retrograde is in Gemini. So if you think what Gemini is about the mind. It's an air sign. So it's about thinking, it's about talking, it's about this. It's about the mind working. So you may get to where you want to jump into conversations. You may want to overstep your boundaries. So for me, a lot of the Geminis that I know were like librarians, like Martha Norwalk. She's a Gemini. She's on the radio. A lot of Geminis have the ability to put things in order. They're very good at mental work. Okay, so we may get a lot of mentalness done during this time. Think about this though, that the Gemini is also a sign of twins. Okay, so if you know somebody is in Gemini, they might one day present themselves as a happy twin, or they might present themselves as a negative twin. Okay, so these twins, there's twin personalities. So when you're communicating, think about what is the twin stepping up here? Is it the frustrated twin or is it the happy twin? So with that, check in with your intention when you're sending an email or a text, that you're not too mentally in the game of it. Okay? Because I have an understanding that when I have a Gemini friend, I check in with their life. Was this person a happy person growing up, or were they more troubled in life? Because if they're more troubled in life, the twin that is uneased will show itself more than the twin that is happier. And so think about that when you're navigating this, because as we're going through life, we're going to be having this next couple weeks up until the middle of July, we're going to be struggling, or as a society, we may be struggling with how do we communicate. Mercury in retrograde also has a personal lesson in it for you. So see about what is going on in your life that is trying to tell you, be careful about what you say. Okay. Check in with that. I know that Kevin and I have had some conversations, and every time I'm ready to say something, I have to check in. What is my intention? Where am I at? What is it? My personal story I want to talk about, or is it something that I'm a feeling about? So check in with that and see, where do you stand with this Mercury and Gemini? And there's always going to be a lesson in it for you. When a planet goes into retrograde, it's about re-looking at who you are, re-looking at about the lesson. Like for me, I've had a lot of lessons in communication. So whenever I'm in Mercury in retrograde, I have to check in to see, how am I doing with that story? I'm re-looking I'm re-looking, redoing, re-anticipating it. So no matter what is going on with, whenever you hear a planet is in retrograde, think about what you're re-looking over, and don't punish yourself for it. Just take an observational look at it, because that's the ability to start navigating it differently. Now I'm going to say, here's a personal story of mine, is that when Mercury's in retrograde, my husband and I, we butt heads a lot. Okay. So Monday, he had a really rough, long day. I had a really rough, long day. Usually he and I would keep chewing at each other. The difference is that we saw it We stopped. My husband went in the other room and watched the other TV. I stayed in this room and did my thing, and we didn't fight the whole night. So we didn't rehash our old story. We stopped the story before it started so that we can say, I love you when we went to bed. So think about what is the lesson that you're learning through all these re's and see where you can go with this. Okay. I'm going to pick this deck. This deck's a little smaller, so I'm going to shuffle this. So when I'm picking a card, I shuffle this, okay? And right now I'm clearing the deck, okay? So I'm clearing the energy. And I'm asking the energy of love and light for all. What is the message that we all need to hear right now from you, angels? This is the Doreen Virtue Angel deck that I still use of hers. Okay, and I'm putting that intention in. So now I'm going to be shuffling here. And what I'm going to do is as I shuffle this, I'm shuffling this until it feels like I'm stopping. Oh, see? Did you see that? There we go. A card almost popped out. Okay, so that's telling me the deck is done shuffling. So I'm going to check and see what these cards are because they almost jumped out. And usually that is telling us. So, Chantel. Okay, so Chantel says, new romance is immediate, either with a newcomer or through, right, I'm having troubles reading. I'm sorry, this.
Why?
When I go through something, my dyslexia really screams and yells, and it's having problems. So I apologize. Okay, so I'm going to restate. So I'm going to have Archangel Michael read for me. Okay, new romance is immediate, either with a newcomer or through reigniting passion in your existing relationship. Be open to giving and receiving. Okay, so think about this card, Chantel. Okay. This card is representation. What was this conversation about? It was about our bodies. Having a new romance, it's not about maybe a romance. You may have a romance coming in or reigniting a romance. Think about thy body as having a romance with it. Think about how you can love your own body. Think about how you can reignite the passion for yourself. Think about that there's, oh, my body would love to walk. Oh, maybe I should talk to it first before we go for a walk. Body, do you want to walk? Yeah, I would love to walk. But it's not a walk of exercise. It's a walk of gentleness. So check into with your body. What does it want to do? Find the romance with your own self, with your own body. Check in to see what food it wants. Think about that. Now, does this mean that maybe you might have someone else coming in your life? Yes. I'm not denying that. But this is a card that, what were we talking about? Our own bodies. Okay. So Yvonne is about communication with animals. Okay. You have a special bond with animals. Your pets on earth and in heaven are watched over by angels. So remember, our animals are the ones that tell us our stories. So if you have a certain bird that flies by, let's say a crow flies by you, check in to see what crow represents. You can Google it. Just Google, what does crow represent? See about what is, what's going on. If, like for me, I was talking to a student today about how Hawk, she's dyslexic too. I'm not going to diagnose her, but there's a lot of similarities. And she sees the big words. She said, I'm reading the big words better than I'm reading the small words. I said, yes, because the hawk is about seeing the bigger vision. The mouse is about seeing what's in front of you, the little details. So remember to slow down and check in with the little details. Our animals are screaming and yelling at us. They want us to pay attention to life around us. So communicate with them more. When your cat wants to sit in your lap, sit with it. Let it purr. Help it change your energy by its purr. The purr is a vibration that changes our energy. So let it purr with you. Okay? And I am going to pick, I'm hearing to pick one. So I am picking a card that this card right here is calling to me. Okay? Oh, and it was upside down. Okay, so when a card to me when is upside down, it's about a challenge that we're having, or we're not thinking clearly about it. Okay, so keep charging ahead and don't take no for an answer. Accept miraculous solutions to appear. Okay, so keep charging ahead. But remember that if we don't listen to our bodies and we are our a lack of respect for what's going on around us, we may not be charging ahead the way we want to. So check in with your team of animals, your own body. Check in with your team to see what's better and healthy for yourself. Okay. And as I pick, I'm going to pick the last card and the top card. Okay. So this is where we've been. Okay. Yes, timing is right. Okay. The timing is right for a new venture. Happy outcome follows your positive expectations. Okay. So yes, we've been there. We've been in the flow. Okay. Now we're at. But right now, cautions are in this. To be cautious right now is a good thing. We're all going through tremendous new experiences. We're all going through major we've gone through a life-altering experience, so we're integrating into something new, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time. Some of us are dealing with quite a bit of anxiety. So if you're dealing with anxiety, remember, if you haven't driven on the freeway to go to work, and you used to do that really well, and now you haven't driven on the freeway for months, maybe a year, and it's like, ah, try driving to the freeway, getting on one entrance, getting off the next. Practice then getting on the freeway and then off 2 exits. So warm up your bodies, because sometimes taking the moment, checking in, you can work that muscle back stronger again and get back into practice what you already know what to do, but you're out of practice, or you're learning a new experience. So breathe. I like that, Mo. Thank you very much. So breathe and know that as you walk and as you go through, that moments like this can happen. Breath is so important. Breath is so important. Okay, so go ahead, Kevin.
Okay. Whenever I go for a walk, there's often a white butterfly flying in front of me for a bit. I feel like it's my grandma. If you feel it, what is she feeling?
And I would say totally yes, because a lot of us have our family members around us right now supporting us. Remember our grandmothers? They had to navigate quite a bit as women back in those early 30s, 40s. They had to walk through much. A lot of our great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, the ones that came over in wagons or in ships, are coming with us too. And so, because they're the ones that had to persevere through life-altering experiences. Now, when I say a life-altering experience, that's grief, that's losing a job, that's anxiety. That can be even like for me, I had a headache 2 weekends ago that it was a migraine like no tomorrow. And it was a life-altering experience for me. I'm still navigating through its new energies that it brought in.
And she says, "Hi, Grandma." And she feels way better because she often walks slowly to help with her angst. And so it is a very important thing that what you're saying here.
Mm-hmm. And two, you're very welcome, sweetie. And two, remember what butterfly stands for. The egg started out with new knowledge. Okay, so the egg of the caterpillar had to start somewhere. We all have to start somewhere, right? Okay, then the caterpillar eats greens. It eats knowledge. It eats the things to help it become itself, right? So think about the egg is about a new idea. The caterpillar is about growing and changing, learning, remember how this was charge ahead, but we still have to learn? So we're in the learning aspect of things. That caterpillar is about gaining information. The chrysalis is about absorbing, checking in. That would be like sitting at home one night going, oh yeah, life has been pretty challenging. What does that mean to me now? What can I do with that? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that person was angry with me. What can I do about that differently? It's that integration. What is life trying to teach you? And then we morph into the butterfly. We morph into the butterfly because the butterfly transforms us into the greater good. Oh, now I know why I have to be careful. I have to have discernment when I talk. Okay, so that chrysalis time was about learning about discernment. And then as we gained what the caterpillar was trying to tell us through our communication, and then with the butterfly is that great gift. And white is about the purity. It's about the knowing, the non-color. So get back to your basics. Get back to that non-color so that you can be your truer self. Sometimes we have to get back to the more enlightened self in order to be our greater self.
Very nice. I wasn't sure if you were complete.
Yeah, I kind of, did you hear me say, Archangel Michael, can you read for me? Well, I guess he took over.
Yeah, very nice.
I guess he took over. Because yes, the
And,
timing will be right soon. We got to work. It's working with that, the international, Michael, what's the word I need? Divine timing. Divine timing. It's about divine timing.
Well, and we all you have that sometimes. Sometimes we can help people through divine timing, and this could be one of those because I think that you've had an impact on Mo today,
Thank you.
which is very important, and that's why this show exists and why you do what you do. If somebody wants to contact you, how do they do that?
They can reach me at angelicclarifications.com or Natasha at angelicclarifications.com. So yes, I do work with angels, obviously, but I am about clarifying life. And so with that, please interact if you would like to. Right now, I still have a lower price on my readings so that I can help people. That's going to change soon. So if you're looking at coming in, check out my website at angelicclarifications.com. And I'm so grateful that my body was able to work out of the Benadryl I took for my drug reaction. So for those that popped in later, I had a nut allergen, and I had to take a Benadryl. So I kind of walked into this a little foggy, and I'm still a little foggy. That's why Archangel Michael is reading and talking for me sometimes.
Yes, we're trying to get her off the Benadryl.
Yes, and the only way to do that is to persevere through it for me, because otherwise it's about 3 days for me to work through the Benadryl feeling. Tomorrow morning, I'm hoping that I can get up in the morning.
It's amazing to me that you can take one aspirin and be gone. My sister is in a lot of pain. She has to take up to 12 Tylenol a day, which is hard on her, but that's and Mo says, let's see, Mo says this. Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kevin and Natasha. Your dialogue is very helpful, and I hope you're feeling better, Natasha.
I am. I really am. Once I get over that initial reaction, I feel much better. So thank you very much. My love to you, and Mo. Please if anybody needs to hear this, I'm here every Wednesday at this time. So if you know some friends or somebody who would like to hear more, please like and share this video and become a subscriber, because I'm here on Mondays too, doing Life Between Lives, talking about if life is really what it's supposed to be.
That's also true, and that's also true. So this is my independent report, and she is a regular contributor and does her own thing as well. So, and by the way, announcements. She's going to be on KKNW 1150 AM from 9 until noon, which is a radio station in Seattle. And if you don't live here, you can still get there by going to marthanorwalk.com, and you can listen. And I hope they fixed it by now. But you can listen via streaming and listen to Natasha, and you can also give her a call. She'll be in feeling better, and we'll probably be able to do readings at that point.
I will not eat anything that has question. Actually, I ate something that I thought was okay, but it wasn't. But yes, I'm planning on there, and that's the one thing about radio. And I listen to it live because I'm out of its range. Just going to WWKKNW 1150 and going into streaming live too. That you can do that, and you can listen and call in and get a short little reading. Just get a short little reading if you would like to.
Yep, she and I are going to do the show together on Sunday, so we'll be there for the entire time. So just so that I don't have to talk very much, please call in. And, I'll just wind her up and let you guys go. That would be good.
Yep. Which I'm very much able to do when I'm on better.
Oh yes, you're more than capable. I can tell you that. So, but you can do that. But she can legitimately help you folks. So give her a call and get to working with her. And she's a delightful soul. So do that. Anything that you'd like to finally say before we finally go?
Please remember you're loved. What you're going through shall pass. So please just keep walking forward. Perseverance isn't always easy, yet it's worth it. So with that, love yourself, love your body, because you'll be able to manage this life just a little bit easier when we do.
And when it's time for you to go, and it's the end of your life, I want to make sure that you feel like that you've left nothing on the table, that you've left everything in the field, and that you have no regrets. Because that's the one thing that as you leave, you don't want to have any regrets. So live your life passionately, fully, and love everybody, even if they don't deserve it.
Yes, like I tell the kids on the playground, just please be friendly. We don't have to be friends, but please be friendly and kind. It makes a difference.
And don't spit on your neighbor. So that's. And I'm sorry, say that again.
To ourselves too. We can be friendly and kind to ourselves too.
Yes, you can be. You should be. Mm-hmm. So, Natasha, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Blessings to all.
Hey, and thanks for listening to this episode all the way to the end. Hey, pretty cool. Hey, don't forget to follow us so you can receive regular updates and new posts. And remember, take care of each other because each other's all we've got. See you next time on My Independence Report.